Yeah, we got a lot. So long.
Yeah, you've got one on how we're gonna replace.
Yeah, I got that.
That's one, and then you have 3 other ones. Close. Okay, 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Barlow. Bowers.
Here.
Brem.
Here.
Jarvis.
Here.
McLean.
Here.
Nesbitt.
Here.
Rezegi.
Here.
And Tassif.
You prep Furl.
Furl.
Tassifa here. Entertain a motion to excuse council members Barlow and Furl.
So moved.
Motion by Nesbitt, do I hear support? By Rezegi. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Hopefully I thank you. It's kind of a big crowd compared to what we usually have. Everybody get a chance to look at the agenda.
So I'll make a motion.
I have 3 additions. Addition under 10H, government temporary agreement. Under 10I, resolution for special assessment. And the last one, 10J, is schedule final assessment roll for SAD. Those are 10H, 10I, and 10J. Do I hear a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve as amended, Your Honor.
Support.
Motion by Rezegi, support by McLean, to approve the agenda as amended. Roll call.
Bowers.
Yeah.
Brem.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Nesbitt.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Barlow absent. And Furl absent. And Tassif.
Here. Yes. In your packet, you have the minutes for the May 13th, 2024 regular meeting. Any corrections or changes to that? I hear a motion to approve.
Make the motion, we approve the minutes of the past meeting and placed on file.
Support.
Motion by Jarvis, supported by McLean. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Public hearing. We have a public hearing tonight to determine the necessity of improvements and the establishment of a special assessment district for downtown parking special assessment district for 2024. Do you want to explain to the public what this is, Sarah?
Sure, so this is a special assessment that is approved on an annual basis to help pay for maintenance of the parking lots downtown. There's a formula for all of the properties that are adjacent to the downtown parking lots. So they pay based on a formula related to the size of the building and the type of use. So this helps to offset the cost of the parking lot maintenance related to the businesses because they use the parking areas to a greater extent than the general it does.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Anybody here to talk about the special assessment?
I don't understand all of it. I could hear part of what she said. So that's going to be...
Can you go back up there, Pete, and tell us who you are? And you can ask that question of her.
My name's Pete Shantz. I've got Allen Pete's Pork Chop here in Hastings. I couldn't hear everything she said. I would like to understand who the assessment is on and for what parking. I'm very disheartened at seeing us demolish parking lots for parking spots on Hastings, on our street, in a number of directions. And though you folks might have tried to contact us, I'm not very handy with electronics in my age, but I'm very disheartened to see the parking we're losing. From my customers, that is the single biggest complaint I get. There's not enough parking to access the downtown stores.
Do you have any questions about the special assessment, though? That's
Yeah,
what this is
I'd like to
public hearing about.
understand it a little better about who it's going to apply to, and for what parking is it covering?
It's for parking lots, and those who it affects have been notified by mail. It's,
When you say lots, miss, what do you mean, the square, larger capacity parking spots?
the actual parking lot, so not on-street parking,
Not on street?
not on-street
Okay.
parking.
And so the one down there by the fire barns would be one of them, the one?
There's
behind-
a map, that lists all of the lots. I don't have that available to me at the moment.
And I wouldn't know by name, but I assume.
You got that
Yeah, they're
map,
numbered.
Dan?
There's one in the packet, but
It's in the packet.
I don't know if it's on the digital packet because we added it later.
So that was one of the items you added, so he probably doesn't have that.
Yeah, there's about 81 parcels.
I don't know them by number.
That covers the parking lot by Phil's Galley, the
Okay,
parking lot behind the general store, parking lot across from Brian's Tire Shop, the parking lot behind the cinema, the parking lot behind Napa, the parking lot behind the Waldorf, the parking lot by the fire department.
okay.
And I don't know if does it cover the parking lot down by Wendy's?
No.
I don't believe it's, no,
Okay.
lot 7 is not covered.
So that's all the lots, all the parking lots that are in the downtown area, Pete, that's what's covered under this special assessment
Yep,
district.
and then who will the assessment hit? All the tax?
All the merchants, all the store owners, all the people that own property downtown. Some storefronts downtown are owned by private individuals and they lease it. The private individual will have to pay the special assessment.
Right. Okay.
Anything else?
Explains part of it.
Okay.
Well, my other concern is that I believe some of us merchants were left hanging in the wind when they knocked out these other parking spots we had on the street. And I don't recall ever getting anything on them. And again, I'm a little leery about electronics, but,
So,
we hear more of a complaint from our customers.
I know you're a pretty busy guy, semi-retired and all that, but how about coming into City Hall and talking to Sarah or Dan? They can explain.
Who?
Dan King.
Okay,
Come in and talk to Dan or Sarah, and they can fill you in on the specifics.
all right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay? Anybody else? Public hearing? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Next item, public comment. I assume that's why most of you are here. Public comment, I want to read this just a second. Public comment is welcome and appreciated. Please follow these simple guidelines to ensure all have an opportunity to be heard. All comments and questions will be made through the chair. All comments will be made in courteous and civil manner. Profanity and personal attacks will not be tolerated. And please limit your length of your comments to 3 minutes. So tell me who you are, where you live, and I'll give you 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is Tyler Ibbotson and I am from Rutland Township. I would like to thank Sarah, the city manager, for letting me join the Children's Input Committee for the redesign of
Joel,
Tangletown.
I can't
pull that
hear.
mic closer to her.
Is it on?
Should be.
Hello, my name is Tyler Ibbotson and I am from Rutland Township. I would like to thank the city manager, Sarah, for letting me join the Children's Input Committee for the redesign of Tangletown. In the committee, we created a survey to get input from the kids that use the playground. Some of the features the kids picked that I liked included the high rope style bridge, a zip line, and music replay. I also used this opportunity for my end of the year expo project. As part of my project, I explained the history of Tangletown and set up computers so that the kids could fill out the survey. I was able to get 12 completed surveys as well as first place award for my category, which was social studies. Thank you for letting me be a part of the future of Tangletown.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
that be on Tableton?
It can be on anything you want it to be.
Thank you.
Tell me who you are, and I'll give you 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Biggie, and I'm a resident of the city of Hastings. And it's my desire tonight that the city council would rescind the action that they took to authorize an LGBTQ rally or gay pride festival that is to be held on June 29th, 2024. By allowing this gay pride festival, the city council as a group or as individuals is endorsing things that many Hastings residents and voters cannot and will not endorse. Question: are you endorsing transgender fallacy that says male and female genders are not a real thing, but they are a social construct? It's a question. Are you as mayor and as council now approving the public promotion of sexual deviant behaviors, the distribution of pamphlets and that target children, even obscene drag queen demonstrations in the Thornapple Plaza? Are you endorsing the public grooming of children and teenagers for immoral abuse by pedophiles? It's a question. If you are not, then why did you vote unanimously in favor of a festival that promotes such unnatural behaviors? In February 2021, a small city council in another state had a non-discrimination ordinance proposed for them. Reading the ordinance revealed that it legally mandated homosexuality and transgenderism in public places. It targeted local businesses, restaurants, private clubs, even the library and the schools. The ordinance would have forced businesses to hire men dressing as women. Bakers would be coerced into baking cakes which celebrate gay marriage or gender transitioning. It was to allow men to kiss and to fondle each other in all public restaurants. It would allow men to go into women's restrooms. LGBT indoctrination would be taught in schools and to the employees of every business. And I question, is that the next step for you, the city council of Hastings? Thankfully, that community rose up in opposition too. Homosexuality and transgenderism are not inherent genetic traits. These are behaviors that cut the lifespan short of those individuals who engage in them. These are not behaviors which we should promote in the public square, especially not be permitted around children. Therefore, I would urge you, the City Council of Hastings, to rescind this approval of this gay pride festival so as not to bring divisiveness to our community of Hastings. Yes, that's what you're doing. Bringing divisiveness that's camouflaged as inclusion is wrong. Rather, let us use our city places to promote community and not specific fringe groups that are anti-family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Scott Price, Hastings, live here in the city. I just want to start by saying that the LGBTQ philosophy is based on a false premise that sexual desires and gender feelings are what determines a person's identity. This has been promoted to us for quite a long time. According to God, sexual desire does not determine a person's sexual identity, nor do feelings about one's own gender determine a person's gender identity. God would be double-minded and cruel if he created a person one way physically and a different way internally in their soul. So first of all, I want to talk about desires. Desires can be ungodly. For example, a married man can desire sexual involvement with many women, not just his own wife. But we don't say that the man is a polygamist in his identity. We call that adultery. If adult desires to have sexual involvement with a child, do we legitimize sex with kids by saying that the person is a minor attracted person in their identity? Or do we call those actions pedophilia? We have laws against such actions that stem from those kinds of desires because they violate God and the nature of God and His Word, and they are a detriment to children, to families, and society. Secondly, let's talk about feelings. Feelings follow thoughts. They don't precede thoughts. So therefore, if a person believes what is false, their feelings will be false as well. For example, if a person believes someone is going to hurt him or her, that could cause the person to feel afraid. But what if the other person doesn't intend to harm that person? That would mean the fear was false, therefore it was because the belief was false. So just because a person feels something doesn't make it true. And just because a person feels different from how God created them in their biological sex doesn't make it true. It means some message has entered their mind they have believed that has led to emotions that they feel. And people often believe something that is false, and so the feelings that follow what they believe are false as well. And so a person's ethnicity, for example, is not based upon desires or feelings. It's based upon concrete biological facts. That is not the case with sexual and gender ideologies. These philosophies are based upon desires and feelings being the basis of one's identity that is a lie, and we should not continue to perpetuate that, especially to our children. That lie does not help them, it deceives and confuses them. And so I want to say we should not be promoting festivals in our community that serve as a means to groom children towards that kind of thinking and those kinds of actions that can lead to permanent consequences, such as the LGBT community will tell you that children and youth are taking their own lives because of the hatred of people who don't accept the way they are.
Thank you, Scott.
The truth is that it?
Time's up, Jeff.
All right. So,
You can get back up during the second comment.
okay, I'll finish then. Thank you.
Peter Adams, I'm a resident here in Barry County. I'm pastor at, at Christ the King Church here in town. I want to speak to the issue that's already been mentioned, but
What's your name again?
Peter Adams. Just briefly, I want to remind the council of this fact that, you go through the motions and you make a lot of decisions. We depend upon you for that as people in this community. What we sometimes forget as council members is that every choice is a moral choice at the end of the day. Even how you spend your taxpayers' money is a choice of how you use their funds. So you have made a choice in allowing this Pride Festival to go forward, and that is a moral choice. And we don't have to do that. We should pay attention to our community's standards and morals, and be better representatives of who the citizens of this city and council are. So I would speak in favor of what these gentlemen have said, that you would rescind this Gay Pride Parade and replace it with something that is more friendly to our community and to our families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Randy Andrews, resident of Hastings, pastor of New Beginnings Church of God. And I'm going to talk to the same issue, that with all the confusion of gender things that are going on in our children, when they say they are this or that. I mean, we even had a child say they relate to a cat, and they wanted their teacher to have a kitty litter in the classroom. With all this confusion, we need to stand up for the truth, stand up for what's right. I mean, we don't need our grandkids and our children viewing things that go on in those kind of festivals. And they're very outrageous, they're very sexual orientated. And why would we want to put our children or our city or our town to that? We should be wanting to be more family friendly and attract families into our community. And not people who are confused with their genders. And so we would love to see you guys rescind that, because we don't want to promote that. We don't want to confuse the children any more than they already are. When we have drag queens coming into our public libraries and showing everything to the children as they're reading a book to them, how far are we going to let this go? How long are we going to let this transpire? All of you here and everyone that holds an office, you're respectful. You represent. How is this representing our city? Is it respectful? Does it have, good morals? So we ask if you please rescind your decision.
Thanks, Randy.
I'm Gayla Konutsky. I live in Nashville, but I feel it's a part of the Hastings community. And the community depends on you to make good decisions for the community. And I don't think the LGBTQ festival is a good decision. I mean, when I was growing up, it was like majority rules. But when it comes to this issue, it's always the minority rules, because it's always way fewer of them than the people that want it, but yet the people that don't want it have to get dragged along because they want it. It's got to change, because it's bad. It's hurting the children. That's why so many of them are confused, because they're being indoctrinated with this sickness. They need to know the truth, not these lies that everybody's telling them. The community depends on you to make good decisions. And I was very disheartened to hear that your decision was unanimous, because it means this town has no moral compass. We need a moral compass to guide the community in the right direction to go. We can't lose any more kids to suicide because they're so confused they don't know what to do. So we ask you respectfully, please rescind the decision.
Thank you.
I'm Jonathan Nash, and I live in Hastings. And along the same lines, I just have one question for the board, and then I'll get out of your face. How did you make the decision? Did you ask the people that voted you in what they thought, or did you just go by your own feelings? That's all I got.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jody Andrews, and along the same line about this Pride Festival, I don't think we should have that. I don't know, I would like you to rescind that. When I was in Disney over 27 years ago, there was a Christmas parade, and there were so many people, men kissing men and jumping, on each other and this and that, and the kids are there, and it's just horrible for kids to see. I mean, so I just hope you rescind it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Denny McKenzie, veteran. This is about freedom. It's about people's freedom. And if they want to have their freedom, they don't need to bring it to Hastings. They can do it at home or wherever they want to. My grandkids don't need to know any of this stuff. They need to grow up. They need to get old enough to make their own decisions and not have people tell them that this is okay, because in my opinion, it's not okay. It's leading them to a path that is destruction.
Thank you, Danny. Anybody else?
My name is Nancy Helderoff. I live here in the city. I'm a grandmother of 16 and a great-grandmother of 43. I pray each day that my children are protected from such things as what we're trying to get going here in Hastings. It is not advisable, as far as I'm concerned, for us to do such a thing, because it tears down the morality of our community. Not just individuals, but the whole community. We will fall if we don't stand together in these things. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, Charles Hertzler. I live here in the city of Hastings. I want to speak about this too. I live across the street from some gay folks, and they have every right to live their lifestyle in their own home. I can't judge them for that, because the Bible tells me I'm not allowed to judge. But I am allowed to say no to them doing it out there and supporting it and stuff. It says in the Bible that if I even sup with them people, that I am just as guilty as they are for their sins. So why would I want you to have a gay pride parade in town? It doesn't make sense to me. Do we have straight parades? Hey, let's everybody go out there and have a straight pride parade. I mean, come on. It's equal terms, right? I don't like it. I don't like it a bit. I am running for city council, 3rd Ward, and if I was on that board right now, I'd have definitely said no. It's not what we want in this town. It's not what I want my grandkids to come to this town and see. I live across the street from them. They mind their own business, I mind mine. There's nothing wrong with what they do in their home, but you don't have to make it public knowledge. You don't have to go out there and broadcast it and pray for it and everything else. No, that's wrong. That's all I got to say.
Thanks, Charles. Anyone else?
Joel Ibbotson, Rutland Township. I was not prepared to speak to this. However, I happened to be here at the meeting that they voted on this 2 weeks ago. And I want to quote from General Puller from World War II. They're in front of us, they're behind us, and we are flanked on both sides from an enemy that outnumbers us 29-1. They can't get away from us now. And that's how I look at this. It's a target-rich environment to spread the truth. Some people quoted scripture. I want to talk about what the Bible has to say about that. 1 Corinthians 5, verses 9 on. I wrote to you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. I did not mean with the sexually immoral people of this world, or with the greedy, or the swindlers, or with the idolaters, for then you would have to go out of this world. Sounds like where we're at today. There's no way to get away from it. So what are we commanded as Christians to do? Well, we're commanded to love them, and they'll know that we're Christians by our love. 1 Corinthians 5 also says that we are to judge those inside the church, not those outside. Those outside of the church, that's not our place to judge. That's God's place to judge. And so when it comes to that love, what does love look like? Does love mean that we affirm that? No. No. If you love your child and he's playing with the knobs on the stove and he lights a burner on fire and he's about ready to burn himself, do you affirm his ability to go do that? No, you don't. You say, no, son, that will hurt you. And that's the way we're commanded as Christians to deal with this. We're supposed to say, no, that will hurt you. I'm not going to tell you I'm any better than those people, because I'm not. Paul said of sinners, he was chief. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a saint. There's things I've done wrong in my life. I'm not better than them. Instead, I'm going to love them, and I'm going to point them to the truth, because that's what as Christians we are supposed to do. And as for the decision of the council, we live in a democratic, constitutional republic, and we expect liberty. And if we expect liberty, it has 3 tenets, and I would tell you that those are the right to do good, the ability to do evil, the responsibility to refrain from doing evil. But it goes beyond that. It's also a responsibility to, after we have our own lives in check, then and only then do we go to our neighbors, family, and friends and say, hey, look, this is how we need to live out our life. So just remember, when they come into town, because they will, This council isn't gonna vote this down. Love them.
Anybody else? Okay, moving along, formal recognitions and presentations. Dave Hatfield here tonight. Dave's been sick, I think he was at Board of Commissioners meeting today, wasn't he, Bob? So we'll hold his time spot for next week. Item 9, items for agenda by unanimous consent. Item A, receive and place on file 9 invoices totaling $483,172.83 as detailed in your attachment. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Support. Moved by McLean, supported by Jarvis, to approve and receive and place on file 9 invoices totaling $483,172.83. Those items are Caterberg, $387,000 for streetscape. Grand Valley Automation, $16,988 for water tower monitoring project. Battle Creek Glass, that's for the library, $15,633. More Burdick Consulting Engineers, $15,031.85 for the Green Street, Market Street improvement design. Infrastructure Alternatives Incorporated, that's our contract for our wastewater treatment plant, $13,882.12. Morton Burdick Consulting Engineers, $11,064.26. KV Landscaping, $10,380. Prime Newhoff, $7,701.50. And Usalco, that's Liquid Elm for the sewer plant, $6,492.10. We have a motion and a support. Roll call.
Brem.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Nesbit.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yeah.
And Tassava.
Yes. Item B, we have a letter in your packet. Consider the resignation of Mandy Furl, second ward council member, effective Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Do I hear a motion to accept her resignation?
I will make that motion with regrets. I'm sad to hear that she made that decision, but excuse me, I respect her decision. So
I will support that motion with the same regrets.
Okay, we have a motion by Jarvis, support of our Rezegi, to accept the resignation of Mandy Furl, second ward council member, effective Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Discussion. Roll call.
Jarvis.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Nesbit.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes, again with regrets.
Bowers.
Yeah.
Brem.
Yes.
And Tassava.
Yes. Okay, item 10, consider approval of the airport to purchase a minivan courtesy vehicle in an amount not to exceed $16,175. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Support. Motion by McLean, supported by Nesbit, to approve the airport's purchase of a minivan not to exceed $16,175. Let me give you a little bit of history on what's going on out there. They had, at one time, Larry Baum donated a couple of vehicles. One was a fairly large-sized van, 15-passenger van. And they were too big. What happens out at the airport when people fly into Hastings to use the airport, maybe they're business people that are going to go to a factory, or maybe they're going to come downtown for a meal. So the airport lets them borrow. It's a courtesy vehicle. And because of the size of those, if a man and woman came to town and want to go for lunch, they're not going to drive a 15-passenger van. So the airport board authorized the airport manager to sell those 2 vehicles, and we got pretty much the same exact price as what we're looking to replace it. We're looking to replace it with a minivan. So that's the history of it. So we have a motion by McLean and a support by Nesbit. Any further discussion?
Are they having that much, not that many people coming into town that they can't use a car?
Well, we had an older car and an old van out there, Don. The van was a 15-passenger van, and it was just too big for people to use. So they've sold those. They've got a pretty good price out of them. And both of those vehicles are donated to the airport. They sold them for $16,000 and now they want to find a minivan that's more family-oriented. So that's where that's at. Any other questions? Roll call.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item B, in your packet, you have a proposal to mill fine grade compact paved Sherbrooke Court from Lakeland Asphalt for a total of $35,000. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Nesbit,
Support.
support by McLean. Discussion. Go ahead, John.
For Travis, how much would it cost for, they said that they would do it for less if the city transported the grindings. How much would that cost us and be if the city transferred?
I think they have a cost up there. It's
like
$5,000 less.
Right, but would how much would it cost us actually to do it?
Us?
Yes.
I think it would be a wash,
About the same.
if not more.
What are they gonna do with the grindings when they haul it away versus us? 'Cause that stuff is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
If I'd stop putting it on my driveway because it costs too much. If they're just gonna haul it off and dump it somewhere, we might be better off to take it for the citizens here.
I don't think hauling is the issue.
No.
Because a lot of times what they do, they'll haul it and they'll put it at our facility because it's cheaper for them to haul it back to where they came from. The problem with this, John, is we don't have a milling machine.
Right.
The $5,000 extra is because they're gonna use their milling machine to do that, to tear that up. We could go up there loader and skid steers, but to do it properly, you need to have a milling machine, because you're gonna take it down 3 inches.
Right, but what it basically says is just for removal.
Right, but that removal is the milling.
Okay. All right, so we're still gonna keep the stuff is the idea, or we
That's
can-
usually what they do, because we've got pilings of the millings out there. You could, verify it with Rob, but that's normally what they do.
Right.
Companies want to dump it out there because it costs too much money to haul it somewhere else. And any other
we've got a
questions?
lot of
in the
buildings
budget?
left.
Yes. It's in the budget.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yeah.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes. Item C, consider approval of a proposal for lead line replacement asphalt patching from Murray Asphalt for a total of $6,750. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make that motion.
Support.
Moved by Jarvis, supported by McLean, to approve the proposal for lead line replacement asphalt patching from Murray Asphalt for a total of $6,750. And what this, a little bit of history on this, what this is all the patching they've been doing around town. They're digging up lead water services. I think there's one in front of your church on State Road. And what they've done is they've dug all these holes up, replaced all these lead water services with copper. Now we have to patch the roads back in. So this is the cost for fixing those holes. Any discussion? Okay, we have a motion by Jarvis, supported by McLean, to approve the proposal of lead line replacement asphalt patching for Murray Asphalt for $6,750. No further discussion, roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Item D, entertain a motion to approve the proposal to remove existing parking lot lights and poles and replace them with new lights and poles at City Hall from Hickey Electric for a total of $5,450. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Motion by McLean, supported by Rezegi, to approve the proposal to remove existing parking lot light poles and place new light poles at City Hall from Hickey Electric for a total of $5,450. Questions?
We have the poles now.
Yes, they were ordered when they ordered the poles for the streetscape.
Very good, thank you.
No further questions, roll call.
Bowers.
Yep.
Brown.
Yes.
Jarvis.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Nesbit.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Tassifa.
Yes. Okay, in your packet, you have a proposal to improve the landscaping on the west side of City Hall from Kederberg, Verhaeg for a total cost of $6,500. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by McLean, supported by Nesbit, to approve the proposal to improve the landscaping on the west side of City Hall from Kederberg, Verhaeg for a total price of $6,500. Questions?
I have a question too. This was not bid on?
Correct.
By the companies?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because they were already in the area, they're doing the streetscape and the library. We can bid it out if you'd like.
Well, we usually do, that's why I was questioning it. The other question was on the exclusions. There's permits, utilities, concrete, asphalt repair, irrigation. If we approve this, there's no dollar amount for that in that, of that $6,500, right?
No, I don't think they would need to do any of these things. Travis, you're more familiar with that area.
No, they're excluding those things because they're not anticipating doing any work for it.
So the 6,500, there's no other cost?
There shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be. Isn't cost.
Well, if we approve this, there isn't gonna be.
My own thing is the bidding process. We always do it in the past.
We can bid it out if you prefer. There's nothing urgent
Not
about
totally
it.
up to me, but
Well, no, I understand.
we have a vote.
We have a motion and a support to approve the proposal, to improve the landscaping on the west side of City Hall from Kederberg, Verhaeg for a total of $6,500. Seems like when we looked at improving the outside, we went with the light poles, we went with the landscaping. Was this included the first time?
No.
Okay,
It was
so
not
the light poles, we took off the original bid because it's too expensive.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, and Caterberg was the lowest bidder on the landscaping last year. Was it last year we did that? Last spring?
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years
Yeah.
ago now? Geez, time flies.
They were the only bidder.
So we have a motion to approve by McLean and Nesbit. Any further discussion?
I have one question. Sarah, do we have policy that says if it's more than X amount that we have to?
Usually if it's anything over $5,000. That's our purchasing ordinance. We have a purchasing ordinance that says anything over $5,000 has to be let out for bids unless it's.
It's waived by the council.
Yep.
Yep, so it's up to you guys.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Brown.
Yes.
Jarvis.
No.
McLean.
No.
Nesbit.
Yes.
Rezegi.
Yes.
Bowers.
No.
Tassifa.
No.
The motion failed.
Okay, so what do you want to do now? Do you want to let this out for bid?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next item. We don't need a motion on that, they're just gonna do that, right, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Next item, consider approval of the quote for application of dust control by Berry County Excavating. Price is $5,043.84. I hear a motion?
Make that motion, Your Honor.
Where's the dust at?
On the dirt roads.
In the city, we have dust. We
All
have,
the dirt roads. What they'll do, it's all the dirt roads, Don. There's a company that's gonna come in there and spread chloride on them roads so we don't have dust. So so the people that live on dirt streets, they don't have to eat the dust every day. Dirt streets, Mill Street,
Thorn Street.
Thorn Street, I forgot, Thorn Street, South Michigan Avenue, Marshall Street, Hubble Street. How many miles of dirt streets do we have?
I don't know, top of my head.
Anyhow, we have a motion by Resge. Did I hear a second on that?
I'll support it.
Motion by Resge, supported by Brem. Discussion.
We have done this every year for, what?
Forever.
At least, yeah, years I know of, or so, 10 years maybe.
Were they the only ones to bid, Sarah?
Rob just called and got quotes. There's not very many companies that do it.
Okay, we have a motion by Resge, supported by Brem, to approve the quote for application of dust control by Berry County Excavating for the amount of $5,043.84. No further discussion. Roll call.
Jarvis,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Brem, and Tassava.
Yes. Item G, consider approving and authorizing the deputy clerk and mayor to sign the Bold House Merchandise Corporation parking agreement beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025. Staff has also prepared an identical parking agreement with a 3-year term beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2027. Everybody get a chance to look at that? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a
Don't
motion.
Motion by Bowers, supported by Rezegi, to approve and authorize the deputy clerk and mayor to sign the Bold House Merchandising Corporation parking agreement beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2025. Staff also prepared an identical 3-year term beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2027. Is there a reason why that's in there like that, Sarah?
So, we hadn't heard back yet, from the other party if they were okay with the 3-year agreement. We typically do a 1-year agreement. Dan and I were talking, and there's really no reason to need to do it year after year, given that the agreement hasn't changed in, I don't know how long we've been doing it, the whole of Hastings Live. So we felt it might be easier if we did a longer term agreement, so we didn't have to come back every year. I understand that since then, Dan has discussed it with them, and they're fine with either a 1 or a 3-year agreement. So it's up to you to decide if you're good with the 3-year agreement or if you prefer to do it year after year.
So, the motion was made by Bowers, supported by Rezegi, and I read the whole thing. But we just want to go, I would think we'd want to go with the 3-year term beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2027. Is that all right with your motion, Don?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me read that again. Bowers, motion by Bowers, supported by Rezegi, to approve authorizing the deputy clerk and mayor to sign a Bold House Merchandise Corporation parking agreement beginning, this is a 3-year agreement, beginning June 1st, 2024 and ending May 31st, 2027. I got that right?
Yes.
Okay. No further discussion, roll call.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. In front of you, you've got a handout that's given to you tonight when you sat at your desk, and this has to do with approval of a gov temp agreement. Do you want to explain this, Sarah? This is item 10H.
Sure. So some of you may remember a similar agreement when we hired Christopher Bieber when he first joined us. So the way that this works is gov GovTemps is a affiliate of GovHR, who does recruiting and HR services nationwide, specializing in municipal positions. So I was corresponding with them to see if there was anybody in their pipeline who would be a good finance director for us since Chris's departure. We had advertised the position on our website, the MML website, various affiliate organizations throughout the state, and did have some responses, but most people had some strong clerk skills, but were lacking on the finance side. It's a very difficult position to fill. Statewide, cities of all sizes are struggling with filling this kind of position. So through my discussions with GovHR, I was able to interview Mr. William Schmidt. He's currently residing in Tennessee, but is looking for a change. So GovTemps has an option called Try Before You Hire. So they start out as a temp employee on an interim basis, and they get to learn about us, we get to learn about them, and decide if it's a good fit and something that we want to continue with moving forward. It is a big risk to move somewhere and take on a new job and a new position and branch out, and this helps alleviate some of that risk, both for us as well as for so I was really thrilled to be able to interview someone who has the background that Mr. Schmidt has. If you had the opportunity to review his resume, you'll see that he has a vast amount of accounting and finance experience in various positions. He has not served as a finance director of a municipality, but he's done some government adjacent roles, I would call them, both in working for a federal contractor as well as rural electric co-ops and electric utilities. So I suggest that we enter an agreement with GovTemps to do the Try Before You Hire position. With Mr. Schmidt, they would complete his background check, and we have him tentatively slated to start June 10th, if all goes well.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize agreement with GovTemp for the services of Mr. William Schmidt as presented, contingent on a background check. And in that motion, I'd like to have you approve $91 an hour for 32 hours a week, $400 a weekly lodging expense, and that will be a total arrangement will cost around $13,248 a month. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
I make that motion.
Motion by Nesbitt.
Support.
Supported by Brem, to authorize the city manager to the agreement with GovTemp for services of Mr. William Schmidt as presented, contingent on a background check. Discussion.
Sarah, you mentioned in this the difference in the cost between what Chris would have made over the last couple months. This is a wash.
It's very close to a wash, yeah. It depends on the length of time, but for the 3-month period, yes.
So it sounds like a lot of money, especially $400 a week for lodging. But in reality, it's the same as what we would have paid our other persons.
Well, because of the time that the position's been vacant,
Right.
just to clarify, yes.
Any other questions, comments? When we brought Chris Beaver in, he was a temp employee through the same organization. In fact, this organization are doing the search for a new county administrator. So we have history with this company. The nice thing about when Chris came here, it didn't take him long, and it didn't take us long to accept him for what he was an excellent employee, and we liked him right away, and we offered him a position, we negotiated a price, and we paid less than what this is. But this is what you got to do to get these people. And I was on Municipal League's website today, And they have a section on this website that talks about vacancies here and there, what different communities are looking at. Everybody's looking for a clerk treasurer, so if we can get this person here, get him to move back from Tennessee to Michigan and encourage him, and if it fits, maybe we can hire him. So we have a motion by Nesbeth. Who was that support?
Me.
Brem, that's right, didn't write it down. Okay, any further questions? Roll call.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Next item that was added is 10I. This is a resolution 2024-14 to determine the necessity of a special assessment district for parking in the downtown business area for fiscal year 2024. Do I hear a motion to adopt resolution 2024-14 and determine the necessity of a special assessment district, SAD, for parking in the downtown business fiscal year 2024-2025?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Support.
Okay, motion made by Jarvis, supported by McLean, to adopt resolution 2024-14 to determine the necessity of a special assessment district, SAD, for parking in the downtown business area for fiscal year 2024-2025. Questions?
This is pretty much the same thing we've been doing for years. I don't think it's changed any, has it?
No.
No.
So nothing's really gonna go up or nothing. It's the same thing that we've been doing and they've been paying for years.
Well, the DDA, what do they pay, like 16,000? They have a base figure they pay. And any assessment above that is shared by the business and property owners. No further questions? Roll call.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yep.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes. Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
and Tassava.
Yes. Next item was at your desk tonight. It's item 10J. The subject is schedule a hearing to make determination on final assessment roll for parking, for the parking assessment. That meeting date will be, the meeting date will be June 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. to make that determination for the final assessment. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Support.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by McLean, supported by Jarvis, to schedule a public hearing on June 10th, 2024 at 7 p.m. to make determination on the final assessment roll for the special parking assessment district. Roll call.
Bowers,
Yes.
Brem,
Yes.
Jarvis,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Nesbit,
Yes.
Rezegi,
Yes.
Tassava.
Yes. Staff presentations and policy discussion, we have none. City manager's report.
So I presented you with a memorandum regarding the city council appointment process. Wanted to see if anybody had any questions about that. It's a little bit different this time because of the fact that the deadline for submitting nominating petitions to be on the ballot has passed. So what our charter provides for that is that you appoint a new council member within 45 days of the vacancy, and then they serve until the first regular meeting after the election, and then they would have to be reappointed. Or I don't see why you couldn't appoint somebody else. I'm not sure why you would, but that's because of the proximity of the timing to the election. That's what the charter provides for that. We now have rules of procedure for when a vacancy on the council occurs. I've included an excerpt from that on page 2. So staff is proposing that we post a notice in the newspaper by June 6th, that the deadline for letters of interest and applications are submitted to the deputy clerk by Thursday, June 20th, and that we hold a workshop meeting for interviews on June 24th at 6, so that would be prior to the regular council meeting. But that the deliberation on those interviews and the actual appointment would then take place at the regular meeting, to make sure that there's adequate time. The new member would then take the oath of office the following meeting, Monday, July 8th. So that's our proposed schedule, if that seems acceptable to you. We wanted to have the interviews and everything completed well in advance of the week of the 4th of July. As people are going on vacation, it's tougher to get a hold of people and get everybody here. So that's a schedule that worked to avoid those high traffic vacation times, as well as fit within the 45-day period that's established by the charter. So does anybody have any questions or concerns about that timeline, or any questions about the process?
So the way it's outlined in this letter, we just want to get a consensus. Thursday, June 6th, notice in the paper. Thursday, June 20th, deadline for letters of interest to the deputy clerk. And Monday, June 24th, workshop at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock, further deliberation and appointment. Does that work for everybody? We don't need a motion or anything. I just want to get consensus. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Worked before.
That it?
Yeah, I also wanted to let you know that our summer intern did start today. We're welcoming Aaron Sutter. He'll be working with both community development and the DPS department. He's studying urban planning at Grand Valley. He's done several projects with the GIS, so we're hoping to use his skills here at the city. So we welcome him and are glad to have him here. We'll also have a few summer workers through Michigan Works. I think they're between the ages of 18 and 26 to be a part of the program. It might be 24. And they'll start later in July. We should have 3 people working in the DPS and utilities departments associated with that program as well.
Any questions of Sarah? I know last week in your weekly report, you gave us an update on the kids from the school that
Yes.
So what's going on with that?
So I have not got the final tally of how many people ended up applying, but we have 3 positions and there were 4 applications by the middle of last week. The deadline was Friday. So I should be hearing within a couple of days from Liam to let me know who all applied and start the interview process for that.
So are these kids going to be able to pick the boards they want to be on?
They'll, as a part of the application, they said what board they were interested in being on.
Youth and
We
government.
tried to connect people with their interests.
Okay.
Yes.
That it?
Mhm.
Okay, also in your packet, you got Dale Boulder's monthly report. And as always, if you have any questions to Dale, I think he's going to go to the podium.
Good evening. Seeing how I'm on the agenda, it's going to be a long night. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
I got one of these here.
So, you know, obviously you guys have seen me walking around in this boot. So there's certain things that I haven't been able to do. Paperwork is not one of them. Obviously it's not really my favorite thing to do, but it's necessary. But it forced me into something this weekend. And for one, obviously, well, I guess it was yesterday, Monday, for the Memorial Day parade. So one of my sergeants was tasked with basically facilitating and making sure all the other officers were doing what they were supposed to do, and the reserve officers in the places they need, barricades set up with the help of DPS and the fire department. I was here. I was closely monitoring, but there's something about myself that some of you probably know, but others don't. I'm a controller. I don't like to let go of certain things, and that's one of the things that I don't really like to. But I sat back and watched my people, and I tell you what, it was great to see them in action. It was great to see the fact that the chief didn't have to stand there and bark orders, that over the years that they've been here, maybe they've learned a little something from myself or others. It was just great to see. A great event, very safe, and so again, I'm proud of my people, proud of the DPS, proud of the fire department, everybody working together. And as you guys have heard me say before, it's teamwork. We can't do anything here unless we're all communicating. Sometimes we get it wrong, you know, but when we get it wrong, we try to fix it. Acceptance of doing things wrong is the first thing, and then taking corrective action. So again, it was awesome to see. I didn't like it, but it was great to see them in action. The only other thing I really wanted to bring up is because I wanted to give you guys a tower update. Unfortunately, my board meeting for Central Dispatch was actually today, so it's kind of weird how my report falls and the board meeting falls. So just a quick update on the Hastings Tower. If you haven't seen it, it is completely stacked, so other than maybe the antenna on top. We're currently waiting on for consumers to bring commercial power to the site, so they're anticipating approximately the end of June for commercial power to the Hastings 800 megahertz site. And Middleville Tower has been stacked for some time now. Consumers ran into a small issue while routing commercial power to that. That has been alleviated. That tower does have commercial power. Equipment is on its way, and climbers are scheduled to climb that tower to start installing. We're still on track for November and December time for both towers to go live, barring obviously any issues. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, I'm sure that, yes, sir.
Chief, the pedestrian crossing that we have now down by Titan Park.
Yes, sir.
My wife saw a car stop, let somebody go by. What is the rule on people stopping at crosswalks? Is that, it can't be a rule that's a state highway, because in Lake City you have to stop at, pedestrian crossings.
So unfortunately, I don't want to speak directly about the statute because I would probably get something wrong, but I will tell you the bits and pieces. State of Michigan, the crosswalk laws are very confusing. What you see in regards to, was it Lake City you said?
Yes.
That was probably local ordinance. The Michigan state law, I don't like to say it loudly because I would like people to think that they do have to stop, and I do encourage people to. Right. But typically that is set by local ordinance for crosswalk, basically yielding to a pedestrian and a crosswalk. So
it's up to the city.
It would, yes, sir. It would be a local ordinance adopted by yourselves.
And that could over the state.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions of Dale? Thanks, Dale.
Thanks, sir.
But we don't have to stop at that one, right? Because we haven't done that.
On Broadway?
Yes.
No, there's no requirement to stop, and I believe the reason, part of the reason that's there is for people to, as they cross.
It's working.
But no, there's no requirement to stop. I would encourage people to, but you don't have to.
Okay.
So.
Okay, also in your report, Dan King's Community Development Report. Anything to add, Dan?
Unless there's questions, I have nothing else to
Any
add.
questions? I'd like to know, go up to the podium a minute, so everybody can hear this. In your report, you talk about the money that, what is it, for fixing the houses up, what was that called?
Oh, the Neighborhood Enhancement Program grant through Michigan State Housing Development Authority.
Community Development Department has received $41,000 in total grants so far. Do we have, they said the application deadline was 31st, so we still have money that people can apply for?
Well, with the number of applications that we've received, the money is spoken for, but we still have the pre-approval process to work through the state of Michigan. So there's been occasions where the state doesn't approve an application based on one of their factors, and they change every year or so. But we're still accepting applications through May 31st.
Okay, so you're encouraging people to keep applying then?
Yes, because we'll do as we did the first year, we didn't have to do it last year because we didn't have enough applications. After the 31st, we'll have a lottery for each individual application. If there's 20 applications, they're all numbered 1 through 20. We'll put those numbers in a hat, and then we'll draw out until all the money is exhausted.
So the people have already applied, are they going to be put in that lottery, that drawing?
The ones that met the original deadline,
Yeah.
they're already in the program.
Okay, I want clarification on that,
Yes.
it wasn't clear. Any questions of Dan while he's up there?
How's the project across the river doing?
The Copper Rock project,
Still moving forward on Copper Rock project?
we had a meeting with them a week ago, so they're still working with their attorney who's schooled in the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority incentives, both the regular 381 plan plus the new housing plan that has been recently approved by the state.
Okay, any other questions? Thanks, Dan. Also in your report is your monthly financial reports. Have any questions? I guess we can direct them at Sarah. No questions? Reports and communications. Item A, May 8th, 2024 YMCA update for the city of Hastings. Item B, May 16th, 2024 draft DDA minutes. Item C, April 10th, 2024 Riverside Cemetery Preservation Advisory Board minutes. Can I have a motion to place items A through C, accept them and place on file? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion to receive and place on file.
Support.
Okay, motion made by McLean, supported by Jarvis to accept and place on file items A through C. No discussion? Everybody, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Okay, we're back to public comment again. Anybody else want to get up, Bonnie? Tell us who you are.
I'm Bonnie McKenzie, mom, grandma, worker from Hastings, many years. I didn't like how Joel, I don't think he's here, wrapped it up. He said that he was expecting this council not to rescind the offer for the Gay Pride Festival. None of us live in a vacuum. We have seen what a Gay Pride march is like. It's obscene. I would wonder if you council members are bringing your families, your children, your grandchildren. I have hope that you find your moral compass. I liked her saying you have lost your moral compass. He might be up north, Mr. Barlow. I would hope that each of you would find your moral compass. And I have hope that you rescind this with all my heart, and all of us here do, and a great amount of the population of this area.
Thank you.
Scott Price again, Hastings. I do pastor Lifegate Church here in Hastings. I just want to respond to the comment that was made about what business is it of mine to judge those outside the church. Are you not to judge those inside? God will judge those outside, expel the wicked person from among you. I had a college professor once said that a text without a context is a pretext. And sometimes people don't rightly divide the Word of God. This is talking about an individual situation, inside or outside the church. Of course we don't judge those outside of the church. What leverage do we have? None. So that is for God to take care of. That's an individual. What we're talking about here is a public group setting. So the context doesn't even apply to what was stated earlier. So I want to go back to what I was saying as far as the LGBTQ philosophy is based on desires and feelings. And the groups will tell you that youth are taking their own lives because of the hatred of people who don't accept them or who they are. But the truth is that we are now beginning to see more kids are looking at taking their life because of the irreparable damage that has been done to their bodies through puberty blockers and sexual transition surgeries. These kinds of actions are most often taken when youth are not mature enough or really don't know who they are and what the harmful effects will be for the rest of their lives, emotionally, physically, and in future relationships. They're not ready to make those decisions, and we are, the word indoctrinate, there has been an effort to do that. So what should we be promoting? We should not be promoting festivals in our communities that serve as a means to groom children with that kind of thinking and those kinds of actions and those kinds of permanent consequences. City Council members, we ask you to have the courage to protect our children and youth from those who are either ignorant of how children and youth are being harmfully impacted by this philosophy, or to protect them from those who are knowingly grooming children and youth by taking advantage of their innocence and immaturity. I know this event was promoted as a family-friendly event, but how can actions that cannot procreate be family-friendly? That doesn't even make sense. And I also know that they do have the plan to have a drag queen show, and that is deceptive propaganda. Because I literally saw a video this last week of a drag queen causing kids to say free, free, what's the other one besides Israel that they're fighting? Hamas. Palestine, free Palestine. They were promoting children against Jewish people. So we cannot continue to support this with our children in this area.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Joel.
Hello, Joel Ibbotson, Rutland Township. People have a nasty habit of hearing what I never said. Never did I urge this council to do one thing or the other. I will tell you right now that you took an oath to the Constitution, and with that oath, here's what you're obligated to. The people have the right, Michigan Article 1, Section 3. The people have the right to peaceably assemble, to consult for the common good, instruct their representatives, and to petition the government for redress of grievance. The U.S. Constitution shall make no law respecting establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble. And I urge you not to violate your oath that you took. That's simply what I said. I'm not in support of this. And as I said, in the analogy that I gave you of my son, if my son's playing with the burners on the stove and he's about to get burnt, is the loving thing for me to do to affirm that, to allow him to do that? No. The loving thing to do is say, son, you're going to get burnt. You need to knock that off. And that's the type of love that we need to have for these people. Corinthians 5, I did not take that out of context. The scripture speaks very clearly in and of itself. If he wants to argue that that is the church outside that these people are constructing and putting together, I'll have that theological debate with him at any time. I will sit down with him anywhere. Fact of the matter is, we are not to judge those people as Christians. We are to love them, period. They will know we are Christians not by our judgment, but by our love. Thank you.
Peter Adams. I just wanted to respond. There's a lot of words going around about judgments. You are public servants, though. You are elected to your office. You are making decisions for us. So you make judgments, one way or the other, as public servants. You either say yes to this gay pride parade or you say no. And then in that regard, you can't avoid being a judge of the situation. And we just plead with you to uphold morality, which would be pleasing to this community.
Thank you.
I'm Jonathan again. I live in Hastings. Have for many, many years. I just have one question. Did anybody bother to take this to the people that elected you in this position to make this decision for us? That's all I got. I'm leaving, not judging, going.
Thank you.
You guys have a good night.
Anybody else? You have a comment, Pete?
Well, I gotta get going and run out of time. But thank you, pastors bunch, and you lay people that spoke against this. I'm backing you all the way. I hope you guys will give that some more consideration. Thank you for the time you've given me.
Randy Andrews again from New Beginnings Church of God. I wish I would have been here two councils ago, but I wasn't. But I'm here today. And I say about the only reason that I can think that you all unanimously voted for this was because of revenue. But you know what? One of the things that was said was that we should let everyone have a peaceful. This group does not have a peaceful gathering. They're promoting their agenda. They're promoting their sexual persuasions, and they are disruptive to community. And you've heard many people made a statement tonight saying we don't want this in our city. We don't want this. It is a degrading, actually, and to the family unit, and to a lot of people that we represent. And so we beg you, please reconsider, and let's promote our city. Let's make it a beautiful place, and it is. You guys are doing a great job, and it is becoming more beautiful down the main street. That's going to be beautiful, and I commend you for that. Our city is a beautiful city. Me and my wife, we get a little chuckle every time we go around by the amphitheater because we say, "Hey, Rusty," the old horse, and as we go on to church. But we're not here to being mean or saying anything. But what we're asking is that you just be considerate of what some people, a good group of people, are saying. And what we're saying is we don't want this in our city. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Randy. Anybody else? Okay, mayor and council comment. Bill, you got a comment tonight?
I have nothing tonight.
Don?
Nothing for today.
Gordon? Yes, sir.
Nothing?
Jackie?
Probably shouldn't open my mouth, but I'm going to. Sitting up here as city councilman, it's not really an easy job.
My hearing aid's quit.
Really
What the
easy
heck
for you
are
to
they
sit and
arguing
point
about?
fingers at somebody.
We're talking about the gay parade.
Just remember, there's always two sides to every story. And we are bound by the law here, too. Thank you.
Okay, no further comment. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by McLean.
Support.
Supported by Jarvis. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We're adjourned. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.